stories of those who've experienced it firsthand.
Pineo and Loeb, how are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing awesome. How are you holding up in isolation?
Oh, doing well. We're hanging out with our cats. Our cats are wondering why we're home so much.
Yeah, I bet they are. I've been taking my dogs for like 3 walks a day. They don't even want to look at me anymore.
Yeah, it's well, we're trying to make the most of it. Just being home, we got all this extra time to learn, work on music, and we're listening to audiobooks and just making the most of our time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, good time to stay busy, stay connected.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, what's happening today?
Well, so I wanted to have you guys on the podcast. So for anyone who doesn't know, you guys are electronic music duo. Would that be a fair statement? Fair way to put it?
Yeah, electronic music and DJ duo. We produce music and we perform it and everything in between, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys toured pretty much all over Canada at this point, right?
Yeah, we played in every province. We were in the middle of the tour here. I think we've been, except for the northern territories, we've been coast to coast. It's great.
That's awesome. You guys got to make it to Nunavut.
Yeah, it's happening apparently.
We have someone in Northwest Territories we've been talking to. We really want to make it up there. I'd love to play Nunavut as well. Actually, that'd be just to say you've been up there and experienced the North would be super cool. But yeah, we played in every province last year. It was a lot of driving, a lot of rental cars. But we're super grateful to get to see all of Canada and travel a bit internationally as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you guys went international as well?
Yeah, we played in Costa Rica and Mexico last year, and we had a couple bookings actually in Mexico in April, but that obviously got canceled as well. There was a festival and a club in Guadalajara in the south, so and we played at Bamboo Base in Costa Rica, and we also played in Nepal in Kathmandu. So those are the 3 spots that we've played outside of Canada.
Wow, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Thanks. It's it's been fun. It's a lot of learning, and we basically, the team's mostly just been me and Pineo. We just recently got a manager and an agent, but for the longest time it was just basically doing all the bookings. So
that's crazy. That's awesome, man. So yeah, I'm a big fan of you guys. I've seen you around Atlantic Canada a lot. I just want to say thanks for coming on, first of all.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And I just want to talk about music production and business, kind of the side of it, kind of your advice for artists. But first of all, I think it'd be cool to kind of get your guys' story of how you guys started out with music in the first place.
Sure. Do you want to start it off?
In the very beginning, we've always talked about how we got together first, but we don't really talk about how we actually began music.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was never actually really good at any instruments, but when I found electronic music, basically when I was in high school, that was the only music that I could do totally by myself, and I found that really liberating. Trying not really succeeding at a lot of other really more technical instruments initially, and then just being able to sit down at a computer and realize your vision on your own was the most inspiring thing that ever happened to me. I was going to go into film school, but once I fell in love with electronic music, I just kind of went full into that and ended up going to a school for that. And I've just basically been doing it nonstop. That was when I was 16, when I first started just writing and producing. It's the most beautiful thing. It's I don't know, creating something that can share and bring people joy as well as yourself. It's very motivating. Recommend
100%.
anybody do it. You know, it doesn't even take any. There's very low barrier of entry to start now. You just need to download a program and you can start experimenting today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So how old were you? What year would that have been when you were 16?
It was like, how old am I? I have to think about this. It was like 2008 or something. Yeah, I think it's 2008. I actually got a MacBook, and it had GarageBand installed on it. Just the computers at the school I went to had GarageBand on it as well, and that's really what I began with. And that's what Logic is. The program I use now is just an extension of GarageBand.
You should say how you won the laptop too.
Yeah, that's a weird story. I was like sitting there watching Much Music, and I remember they were like, yeah, 10-second epic is on Much on Demand tonight. And then it was like 10 minutes later, it's like, we're doing a contest, giveaway contest, if you can tell us who's on Much on Demand tonight. I didn't even know what they were giving away, and I went online and typed it in because I remember they said that. And then like an hour later, I just heard in the background, they're like, yeah, Mitchell Pineo, you won a MacBook.
Wow.
That blew me away because I didn't even have a computer like of my own. It was just a family computer at that point. And that was like so lucky, and I'm so thankful for that moment. You realize how pivotal it is, because once I got that, I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. Saw that it had GarageBand on it, and I realized that it was just so much fun making these songs on the computer, and that's still what I'm doing every day. Is what I discovered in GarageBand there, just in Logic, the more advanced version. So I'm very thankful. It's strange how those little moments in your life can be so significant later.
Yeah.
Very thankful.
That's fate, man. That's fate.
Yeah, I think of it that way, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, electronic music would have been different in 2008 compared to
it was
now.
a lot faster and cheesier. That's kind of what I was listening to. I mean, there was, of course, the underground, better stuff, but I was listening to like Eurodance and stuff like that. I mean, that's what people were making on the internet a lot.
Right.
But it changed very quickly come the start of 2010, and that's when I started going to school for it. And that's when like EDM kind of began in the West.
Oh.
And I met up with Loeb, and, and that was fate as well.
Yeah. So, first of all, what school did you go to, and then how did you guys meet?
I went to Center for Arts and Technology, a branch of the school it was originally a school in Kelowna, and then they started one in Halifax, and I went there. I ended up teaching there for a few years after I graduated. That's closed down now. Loeb was going to Dalhousie at the time. I took audio engineering. That was a class I took. That was quite a big gamble to just kind of go after this passion, without really knowing what kind of job I would get out of it. I just knew that I really loved it, and I'm very lucky to be able to be working in that business now. It's,
right.
And NSCC. I took a year at NSCC for music business.
Okay. That probably came in handy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's half the battle. You have to know, I mean, maybe even more sometimes.
Yeah.
The business around it. You can have a lot of talent, but you need to be able to get it out there to people and make sure that you connect with people. Music needs to be heard.
Yeah. So at the same time, when he was in school, I was at Dalhousie. I was taking business, and I was kind of later to the party with learning music production. Like I first kind of just bought some DJ gear just for fun, just to kind of play around with at home in university, and just kind of played with it in my room, and then eventually got a kind of a gig at a house party, and that kind of sparked a lot of interest and motivation for me to kind of like, oh, maybe I could possibly play in a venue one day. Or and then I was also at the time started throwing events like at Dalhousie and around Halifax, and we'd bring in other DJs. First it was just local Halifax people. Eventually we started bringing in other acts from Canada and international acts to play in Halifax, and that was around the same time that I met Pineo, and yeah, we would be putting the shows on, and we'd get Pineo to play, and then I would eventually start playing as well, and then we'd start playing together, And it just kind of happened naturally over the course of a couple years. And then eventually we both got our residency at Pacifico, and we'd spend a ton of time there. Then after the club, we'd come home and stay up till 6 a.m. and he'd teach me a bunch of stuff on music production. And then I'd learn a lot from him and online tutorials. And yeah, we both use different programs, which is kind of interesting. Like he uses Logic for music production and Tractor for DJing, and I use Ableton for production and Serato for DJing. So it's I guess
I don't think there's too many teams like that use totally opposite stuff. It's just like we're two different processes coming together. I think is interesting instead of like working on the exact same thing together.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right.
I was gonna ask. I think we're getting a little echo over there. Do you guys hear that?
I'm sorry?
I think we might be getting a little echo there. Do you guys hear that? Oh, maybe it's good now.
Oh, yeah, it sounds fine on my end.
Okay, I think it's good now. Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys about that, kind of like your process, just given like how unique electronic music is compared to other types of music, like how you kind of come together to create music.
It's similar to a lot of genres. I think of electronic music as using like the mixing board as the instrument. In this case, like the mixing board is the computer. Because we record instruments into the computer all the time. I mean, I was working on something just like an hour ago and just kind of creating loops and programming in little keyboard riffs and just experimenting. It's interesting how quickly some songs happen and how other ones take so long. But it's really just about experimenting. Like with any song, maybe the hook will just come to you in a moment while you're just playing around.
Right.
That's our process. We just try to follow inspiration. See if if you get a bass line stuck in your head, try to write that down in MIDI or record it and then just build off it, loop it. Try to make a narrative out of it.
So would you guys like come together at that point? So say that one of you kind of is like working on something at then some point you kind of bring it together.
Yeah, usually that's how we do it. We've done some where we start them together, but then we pass it back and forth. I might show him something and then realize like half of it is terrible. That's what's so good about working together. It's like once I play it to him, I'll be like, okay, this part's good, but this part is clearly not good.
Yeah.
Bounce ideas off each other and then focus on what we both like. Because if we both like something, odds are it's better. That's why we can like use each other as the audience.
Right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's interesting because even in our like early days of production, like you could still hear the same like taste, like the same flair, the same, I guess, like sonic qualities that you hear in our music now. Even though like the technical side of it, there's been major improvements. Everyone kind of has their own taste, and I think if you listen to our older stuff, you'd be able to kind of be like, oh, that makes sense. Like it's kind of cool to see the evolution technically. It's listening to like your demos from 6 years ago, you could kind of really see how you've improved from a technical standpoint.
That's the most valuable thing you have, I think, is your taste. Your unique taste in music is what drives you to make decisions creatively.
Right.
Anyone can learn the technical side. I mean, it is difficult, but what really makes you stand out is your own experience of what you like. So if you love music and you have a unique taste, everyone's unique. You will make unique music. I think everyone should embrace that. I love like hearing my own style and comparing it to Loeb style and then blending it together. That's what's great about any good partnership, is hearing people's unique styles coming together and then the style that is formed between both their tastes.
Right. Yeah. So how did it go at like when you guys started? We kind of talked about like the evolution. How did it go as far as performing starting out like comparatively to where you are today?
It's pretty similar. It's kind of the same process.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, generally, it's, I guess, most, I guess, kind of traditional DJ duos, they use like one kind of piece of gear, like a CDJ 2000. Like they'll both be on the same sort of DJ controller. And we both, from the beginning and still currently, we both have our own separate DJ controllers and laptops. So we find it really, it's really helpful to, like, we'll go back and forth basically. So I'll play a couple songs, or Pineo will play a couple songs. Sometimes we're both playing at the same time. But you know, we have two laptops, kind of like two brains going at the same time to figure out what the next best song would be to play. And, you know, we each have thousands of songs on our laptop, and just a couple types away to kind of pull up whatever we think will make kind of people go crazy.
It's like we're both performing separately, but at the same time. So it's like the best of both of us solo, instead of playing just on the same piece of gear. I mean, we do that as well. That's kind of what's fun. And then sometimes we'll add instruments and we'll play stuff on top, but it's all kind of built around both of us performing at the same time and then going back and forth, picking up each other's slack and, you know, running with each other's motivation. I think that's really fun. The balance that you make between each other. And then sometimes we'll have Sparky who's playing guitar, and then he'll push us in another direction, or any other performers who've joined us. We've had lots of people perform with us live in different capacity. It's really fun. The chaos of it.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome. I've seen a few of those shows. I really enjoy that. When there's the element of the like a live instrument there too. It's really cool.
It makes it more exciting for us. There's more freedom, like a little more ability to express, you know, a little more ability to improvise, and just crazier. It gets a little more chaotic.
It's crazy. I mean, the technology to make music on a computer now is just like insane. I mean, compared to what people had to do 20 years ago, would have cost, you know, $1 million. You could do, you know, a 12-year-old kid now can do with a MacBook. Like the technology and the quality that you could get out of the production software and all the virtual instruments you could use, like real recordings of, like, you know, super expensive pianos or guitars. It's really like any single, I mean, you could be in a Callaway and you could make like a, you know, there is amazing music being made there, but if you want to be an electronic artist in a Callaway, you could, and then with the internet, you could reach everyone, and, you know, make an impact and build a big audience. And
doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have an internet connection and a laptop. The musical world is your oyster.
That's so awesome.
I find that motivating.
You guys are inspiring me right now. I don't know about everyone else that's going to listen to this, but I'm inspired.
I hope so. Everybody should, you know, express themselves, and then we can work together, because then we could work with you. We'd love to work with anybody. Like, we always are amazed at what happens when people come together, and we want to continue experimenting and working with anyone, because everyone has something to give. Everyone has that unique perspective. We've worked with so many different people, and I just want to continue that, you know, endlessly.
That's such an awesome perspective.
Thanks. It's good not to put up any barriers. I mean, we kind of like, especially collaborating with people who I guess most people wouldn't think would work with electronic artists. Like we've worked with like Celtic fiddlers, you know, turntablists. We want to work with basically anyone of any genre. I mean, I guess turntablist isn't too far from electronic music, but I guess trying to think, like we had a collaboration with Glass Tiger recently, which was pretty cool. They're like a 80s synth pop band. So I was interested in kind of meeting halfway with them. They're like a Grammy nominated band from Ontario from the 80s.
Right. Wow.
That was super cool to, I mean, they're in their 60s. So it was like, you know, just getting to work with someone with such a rich musical past in Canada and internationally. We basically just want to work with anyone and just continue to learn and get as good as we can as musicians.
That's awesome. So awesome. What would you say, like, some of your biggest influences are musically?
It's always changing. It's always growing. I'm always trying to listen to something different. I always try to immerse myself in something and then get inspired from that. I mean, there's the timeless ones that you're always inspired by. Like, particularly, I really like Max Martin. A lot of people don't know who he is, but his music has influenced me my whole life. He's a producer behind like the most #1 pop hits of any producer right now, countless acts he's worked with. I love that shape shifting. I love the idea of not being restricted to one sound. I mean, I really like Prince for that reason as well. He continually evolved for like 40 years. I want to imagine us continuing to expand and grow and shape our sound. Aesthetically, it will always change, but at the core of it remaining the same, what you love about it, but how it sounds will change. Who are you listening to now? Who are you feeling?
Have you heard of this Max Martin guy?
I have not. No.
I guess that's a good point. We should talk about
it. It's like a lot of people don't know who this guy is, but he has more #1s than the Beatles?
Yeah, he just surpassed him. I think he has 27 #1 hits right now. He grew up like in Sweden working with a producer who worked on Ace of Base, and then kind of took it under when he began producing himself. He started working with Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys, and they gave him his first #1 hits in the US. And then he went on to work with so many different acts, Kelly Clarkson's, the Taylor Swift's, basically a Pink. He has #1 hits with all these different artists that you don't realize is the same writer behind for so long. He's been doing it. I should look at the brief.
We'll pull it up on Wikipedia. He's basically the music producer for most of these huge pop people. So he's like writing the music with a huge team behind the scenes, but
sometimes it's always changing.
Yeah, it's every song's different, but he's just an absolute genius, and we definitely study his production a lot.
Yeah, he's a big inspiration. Anybody who constantly evolves like that, I think more. Oh yeah, here's the list. Here's the brief overview: Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Celine Dion, Kelly Clarkson, Pink, Usher, Avril Lavigne, Katy Perry, Christina Aguilera, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, etc. It's all this Swedish guy, writing these songs behind the scenes and changing with the times. That's what I think is so cool, is producers who can change with the times. I mean, his stuff that he did in the late 90s sounds so late 90s. In the 2000s, it sounds 2000s. I don't want to be stuck just making one sound forever, but I want to create a narrative between all that music. What we write in 5 years ago should connect to what we write in 10 years, but it's not going to sound exactly the same. But if you listen to it all in the row, you'll see how it's all connected. That's really what I'm thinking. Always trying to plan ahead where we're going to go.
Right. That's so cool. So
Google him if you're listening.
Yeah.
It's Max Martin, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's I think he drinks like super high quality coffee, like insanely caffeinated coffee. I want to get to that stuff.
His legendary coffee.
Yeah.
Could be the secret, man. It's all in the coffee.
Yeah, it's all in the coffee. I want to get that Swedish coffee.
Yeah. Different kind up there.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we're influenced and inspired by, like tons of different artists, movies, genres, games. It's not all necessarily music. Videos.
You are what you eat. I always try to say that. If you want to make sure that you're always just watching and whatever you're consuming, think of it as like your diet with media. I try to plan it out and make sure that I'm watching and listening to stuff that will inspire me or be good for me. And then sometimes just guilty pleasure stuff because it's fun.
Right.
But yeah, always looking for inspiration.
What's that?
Always looking for inspiration.
That's awesome, man.
Sorry.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just for anyone who is listening, we are really privileged to be in Canada, just with all the grant programs and the resources available. I guess with in PEI or Nova Scotia or just the Canadian federal government, there's Music PEI, there's Factor, there's Canada Council of the Arts. I know there's Arts Nova Scotia. I'm not sure what PEI's version of that is called, but a lot of these programs like don't exist in the United States, and I definitely it could really be a game changer for an emerging artist to get funding for marketing or just there's resources to kind of get you off your feet to launch your project. So not just music related as well, for all types of art. So
yeah, we're really lucky. The government is willing to support you. If you're going to really try something artistically and really put your heart into it, there are resources there to make it happen. We're so lucky. We were actually, I don't even know how far we would be able to get without the support of the government and the funding that is available there. So you can do it too. I didn't even think it was possible. I remember when I was like first going to school, people were like, yeah, you got to get grants. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give that a try. But then once you like really start working and you realize that if you put the effort in to get these grants, they actually can help, make that dream tour possible. It wouldn't be possible without doing that. So go for it. Google it and go for it.
There's like grants for production. Like if you need to hire a mix engineer, a mastering engineer, there's like touring grants. Like
if you want to throw a release party,
you want to put on a release party. If you need like money for marketing to hire a publicist, like the tour that we just had to cancel, that was funded by Music Nova Scotia. So they help with costs such as travel, per diems, gasoline, Airbnbs, like merchandise stuff to give out to fans and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if we didn't have those sort of programs, like we would be a lot more difficult for us to, we'd still find a way, but it would be, we'd be racking up some debt for sure.
Even more.
Yeah. Even more debt.
Right. No, that's so awesome though. I wasn't really aware that there's all those programs and grants.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I don't know. I think they like get it from like at least in Nova Scotia, from the casinos, or just scrape a little bit of money off the top and give it to artists and stuff. I think that's how it works. But either way, I'm super grateful for these programs. And yeah, Factor, I know, is Canada wide, and all different levels of artists. Like there's, just people who are basically brand new and emerging. There's people who, are just touring Canada, who tour internationally. There's different.
That's a good point, because there's different levels. So if you go in, you're not competing with really established artists. They break it up. So if you just beginning, you're with just beginner artists. If you're like level 2, so there's opportunity for everyone, no matter how much infrastructure you have or how developed you are.
Wow, that's awesome. I had no idea. What does performing mean to you guys? If you had to put it into,
it's self-expression. I think that's the greatest thing. I have all this like energy and like all this like desire to express myself, and then music and performance really is the outlet for it. I didn't have that for a long time, and you feel lost. And then when you find something that allows you to be yourself, like being up on stage and playing the music you really love and like dancing and expressing how you really feel to it, is just the most freeing thing. Value it so much. So lucky to have found it.
Yeah, it's definitely a rush that I've never gotten from anything else. Just being able to, just having people singing to a song that you made in your room just kind of feels surreal. Like if you would have told me that like 5 years ago, I would have, said that you're crazy. I mean, and be able to, just elevate people's moods and just like, just try and output positivity to everyone in the room. And
that's the most amazing thing about it, is when you play a song and someone is at your show and they hear it, and then they come to you and they're like your friend, even though you've like never met them. They've only connected with you through music, and then you're friends automatically. I find that like so beautiful. I would have never known this person if it wasn't for the music, and now we're like friends and we're sharing something that we love. That's so inspiring and motivating. I just want to continue to do that with more and more people.
We would have never been talking if it wasn't for music.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's cool, man. It's really cool.
Thanks.
As far as like music production, say there's someone starting out music right now. They want to get into making music. What would be like the program you would recommend downloading?
If you're on a Mac, you have GarageBand already on it. You can use that. Grimes recorded her first album entirely on GarageBand. It's an amazing Canadian album recorded just on a GarageBand in a bedroom. If you're and you want to get Logic, if you want something a little more advanced, that's like what Calvin Harris uses. It's a pretty industry standard one. Ableton is also available on Mac, and it's also available on PC. I used to be on PC and work on FL Studio. That was really great. Audacity is free. There's so many different programs.
They basically all do the same thing. There's like, a couple pros and cons minor to each one, but generally starting with kind of like a free one like GarageBand, which comes on a Mac, and just kind of understanding the workflow. And, if you're really super interested, you could, get a trial to Ableton or Logic or buy it. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, the barriers to entry are super low, and there's tons of free stuff online, like YouTube tutorials, up to ying, sample packs. There's like Reddit is a huge resource, like Reddit/r/EDM production.
I do private lessons of production. Those have been great. I used to teach at the school. Yeah, you could learn. You can Google a lot of it yourself.
Wow, that's cool. Do you do like kind of private lessons like over the internet, kind of?
I hadn't. I was doing it all in person, but given the situation, yes, we're going to have to now. We just set up our live stream. We're going to be doing live streams soon, so I could use that same setup to do private lessons online, which I think would be great. That's the next step.
So are you guys live streaming music?
Yeah, we will be. We just set up a twitch.tv/Pineo and Loeb. Check it out.
That's awesome. Yeah. Definitely. I'll put a link to that in the description of this.
Thanks.
No problem. What was I going to say? The business side of it. Was that a learning curve for you guys, like starting out?
It was. I mean, it's a little bit of trial and error. And just kind of learning as you go. I mean, you want to get, obviously, once you kind of decide on a name, which was our last names, we both started independently, so we basically just added an ampersand and then did Pineo and Loeb. Basically getting, Facebook page, all your social media, proper logos, eventually getting like a press kit that you could send to other promoters if you want to get booked.
You can do it all. If you have just like, you can use MS Paint and just set it all up yourself, set up a Facebook, set up a SoundCloud, start making music. That'd be a good social experiment. I'm sure like someone who's never been a musician could establish themselves with all like the industry standard basics and producing a song in one day. You always see memes about that where it's like, I created a drum loop. It's like, all right, I need a manager. Somebody come here. You can do so much of it yourself, though. I mean, it's just like everyone's so used to setting up like MySpace profiles and Facebook profiles. I can't believe I just name dropped MySpace. I dated myself.
MySpace.
But we can do all those things.
You mean you're not on MySpace? I'm on MySpace.
Yeah. I wonder if my old one is still up there. But yeah, you can have fun with it. Like some people are just so intuitive. You can just play around and make your own profile, and everything is a slow building up those fans.
Right,
I saw a post. It's like Porter Robinson being like, wow, I got 100 fans on Facebook. Thank you, guys. Somebody shared that the other day, one of his first posts. Everybody starts somewhere, and you just have to enjoy that journey. He's got millions now, but I mean, those first 10 fans or that first fan, every one of those is a milestone, and just enjoy it. We've enjoyed every step of the way. I think that's key. You have to have fun with it. It's not about what you get from it. It's about what you give by doing it, I think.
And it's also easy. Like, I mean, everyone has done it at some point, but like comparing yourself to other artists and
Yes.
That could be, that could really make some people not want to start, being like, oh, well, like, this person has, 15,000 fans. I have 3. Like, why would I start? But you really just got to try and not, get that out of your head, and just all you really want to focus on is, how could I get better every day? How could I, if you have 500 fans and they're 500 dedicated fans, I mean, that's an accomplishment. If you have 10 dedicated fans, that's an accomplishment. Just try and better yourself, and try and, every day make the steps to, just, you're going to be looking at yourself in the mirror. So, just try and do the best that you can do, and don't compare yourself to other people. Everyone has their own journey, and everyone's journey is different. So
it's hard not to compare yourself to other people, but everything's relative and everything's different. What someone else has, they might be envious of something you have, and no one should be envious of anything. We should just be celebrating each other. That's the beauty of collaboration, because then once you work together, you realize that you shouldn't like negatively compare yourself to anybody. So I want to work with anybody. We're all on this different journey, and all of our journeys are great. What the trajectory that it happens at is totally different for you and for anyone else, but it's the right trajectory, and just work hard and enjoy it. I have to tell myself I have to try to shut down those bad thoughts sometimes actively, but I'm always glad when I do, because everything is worth being celebrated, I think.
I think like focusing on time is never healthy. Like, they got here this fast. Like, why aren't I there that fast? Or
I do that
they're there now.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely a thought that's gone through every artist's head, including both of ours, But it's natural and it's normal to feel like that. It's just, you need to know why you're feeling like that, and I guess just try and understand, and avoid, falling into those loops.
Right. I think even age is like a thing that, it comes back to like time, but like, that person's this age and they're already there. But I think it goes back to like what you were saying, where everyone has their own journey. And
it really makes a difference. And there's like James Murphy is a big inspiration. He basically gave up on his music career. He was like 33 and was like, oh, probably my prime is past, comparing himself to these other people. And then he made a record just because he wanted to do it. And then that record blew up really huge. And then he became like a star at a time much later than you would normally expect someone to become a star in like electronic music. The guy from LCD Sound System. And now he's like revered, greatly revered. And I mean, he wouldn't have the discography he has in the music that he made, which is so beautiful, unless he blew up at 33 or later. It happened for a reason. And
right.
Everyone's trajectory is different. Celebrate that, and also the lesson from that, I think, is to do it because it's fun. Never do anything motivation
exactly.
other than that. You got to love it. I can always tell. Anyone can tell, I think, really, if something is done with love.
If it's forced, it just kind of feels like awkward. It's like, oh, like that doesn't seem fun, like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 100%. I think that's something that, like, I mean, music is up to interpretation, but I think that's something that I definitely feel with your guys' music is like a soul, or like a love type feeling.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's the goal. I mean, we spend so much time to try to do that. So for someone to say that, it means a lot. I mean, we are trying to put love I think of every song as like a child. It's an extension from you. You send off into the world and you want the best for it. And you try to give it everything you can so that it is its best self. And you have fun with it. We do all these different styles. That's what's really fun, is just experimenting. So many different like versions. Some more intense, some more chill, some funny. It's just like a family.
Right. That's awesome.
Too abstract.
I think I read somewhere in one of you guys' interviews, you said you like to mix 20th century music with the 21st century music.
Definitely like the sound. I mean, if you think about the 21st century, I mean, all the advances in electronic music that have been made in production, the ability to blend things and all the effects that we have and the synthesizers we have. There's a huge frontier. But then when you look back at the 20th century, and there's this huge frontier of recorded sounds that you won't have anything like that now. There's such a unique character to a lot of the sound of the past, the soulfulness, and there's so much of it. I mean, there's infinite records out there that people haven't heard still that have been recorded in the 20th century. And I want to try to take some of that soul, at least the sound, and combine it with what we have now. I know so many people are doing that. That's a big trend, but I think to try to word it that way and do it actively is really exciting. Mixing, remixing a song from 50 years, but making it sound like it was like recorded today is a really exciting prospect for me.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And you really feel like that soul element really, it connects with people, I think.
That's the X factor. You can't force that. You just gotta, hopefully you get in that trance, the hoodoo trance, where the soul comes in. It's magic.
Right. It is, for sure.
And sometimes it doesn't happen, and you're just thankful anytime something is good has happened. That's what's really interesting with music production for me is I never feel like, oh yeah, I did this, I'm great if I like write a great song, because I mean I've written like 10 bad songs in a row before I've written that good song. When we write a good song, it's like, wow, this is lucky that this happened. This one is special for some reason. It stands out. I feel like very humbled and thankful anytime we write something that I think is good.
Do you almost feel sometimes like where did that come from?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's like was it Quincy Jones who said like pulling ideas out of the air?
Yeah.
Once our hours are pretty wacky. I mean, obviously the DJ life doesn't really help going to bed at, like, you can't really go to bed at 8 p.m. with that because we're used to being up late. But like once we get in the groove, like in production, and like we have an idea that's really working well, it's like there's kind of like this guilt. Like if you're tired, you want to go to bed, you won't know the next day if you're gonna if that idea is like the inspiration is gonna be there, and like if it's really flowing well. I know both of us we'll stay up super late because we're in the zone, and like you're not always completely engulfed by an idea, and if it's like you're really feeling the groove and the song's really progressing, it's like, all right, you're not going to know when that idea is or when that inspiration is going to hit back. So it's I don't know if I articulated that correctly, but if you know what I mean, it's like
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So has that been kind of like a balancing act, like with normal everyday life, kind of balancing like the DJ hours, staying up super late, and then kind of going about your day-to-day life as well?
It's tricky. We pretty much embrace the DJ life fully.
Yeah, I mean, if we have like a dentist appointment, we'll push it as late as possible. Yeah, we're not going to take the 9 a.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah, we're not going to do the 8 a.m. tooth clean. We're going to do as late as possible. But I mean, we're full-time musicians right now, and doing the I guess right now everyone's in limbo with this current situation, but
day and night doesn't make a huge difference right now, it feels.
Yeah, even right now it's just like, all right, well, we're technically on quarantine right now at home, so I mean we can't really go anywhere anyways, but generally we're we say we're on the reverse 9 to 5.
There's less distraction. We literally are on the reverse 9 to 5. That's bad. But I always like being up at night because there's nothing else going on. You're less people like messaging you, and it allows you to fully immerse into the music, into the craft that you're doing. Right. Get fully in there, because it is like a trance kind of that takes over you. That's the thing. And once that trance is going, you have to keep it going. So thankful anytime it does. Now I guess it doesn't matter. Lots of people are up now. I've been noticing that with the hours, like more and more people are awake at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. when we're around.
Right.
It's an interesting time to be doing this right now.
Yeah. So, are you guys? So you guys are DJs full time. So will this kind of affect you if it ends up going a long time? Do you think?
It's affected us definitely already. I mean, all our income for the foreseeable future kind of like vanishes, but there's things coming apparently. And
Yeah, I mean, we make all our money from live performances, and we've had to cancel, 20 shows from, BC to Newfoundland, basically. And, we got booked for some of our biggest gigs. Like we got booked for Shambhala Music Festival, which we've been trying to get booked for years and years. So
we finally get it. And it's like, this is the summer. And oh no.
Shit, man.
Yeah. So, I mean,
we're already like so lucky, so we can't really complain. Everybody is experiencing it, but it is it's a big monkey.
Yeah, it's like slightly concerning, but I mean, we're trying to be kind of optimists on the whole situation. I mean,
you have to.
Right. Us kind of stressing out in our house on Duncan Street in Halifax isn't going to really change how many hospital beds there are in Canada at the moment, for example. But I mean, obviously, we want this situation to be rectified as soon as possible because we just get a ton of joy out of playing shows, and we both just love touring, love, the long drives, the Tim Hortons drive-throughs, just, I don't know.
It makes me appreciate it even more now that it's pulled away. I'm like, wow, we were so lucky even to do that for the 2 weeks that we did before it was canceled. We're so lucky, and it makes me even feel like I'm sure you will be able to play again, but I'm so excited and so thankful for the opportunity to play again when it comes. And I'm going to be double, triple thankful when we finally get to do it.
Right. Yeah. I think that's kind of going to be the common thing. Everyone will be thankful just for everyday things in life once this, passes eventually when it does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all we know is, I mean, we're gonna keep on learning, making music. Like we're both practicing piano every day, guitar, our productions. We're just we're stockpiling a ton of music, and we got food in our fridge right now. We're healthy, so everything's good. Everything's good with us. We're just gonna keep on trucking along, and I know there's hundreds of artists that we know personally in the same boat as us. So I think we'll find a way to get through this situation, and I'm just so excited once we're able to travel and play shows and just connect with people. Just like connecting with people in person is just like, I don't know, it's kind of indescribable feeling being able to meet all these amazing people and just being able to perform and just, I don't know, smile. It seems kind of cheesy, but it's real. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Right now we just got our cats and we're safe at home. So that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's it's beautiful, man. And you'll get back to it. Everything will get back to normal. We'll all be okay, hopefully. And I just want to say thanks again so much for doing this, guys.
It's a pleasure. We really hope that we can help. I mean, that's all we want to do. Hope we're measured in life, I think, with what we give to the world, and I hope that we can make a positive contribution. If anybody wants to collaborate with us or wants more advice, please send us a message. We're always open. We want to help. We're in this journey together, and we appreciate you giving us an opportunity to share our thoughts. It's valuable. We hope we can help.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you reaching out, and it's great chatting. And if anyone is listening, they want to ask any more questions, Pineo and Loeb, you could hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and we're happy to answer any production, music, business questions. If you just want to chat, we partnered with Stay Golden from Charlottetown. We got a ton of new merch that we ordered. So the line's always open for us.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Pineo and Loeb, check out their music, check out their page. I'll share you guys' stuff in the description. Thanks again.